So you've decided you're on a journey and you want to experience the most, huh? I can dig it. Why don't you come down this road? It's not too much traffic, lots of peace and serenity. You know, the road less traveled. I am Dolo, your friendly spiritual assistant. I'm here to help, and I'm glad you're here. Here on the road less traveled, there's a lot of self-reflection, self-development, and lots of love always. Warning, there are no shortcuts on this road. But if you stick with it, you're guaranteed to get where you need to be, where you want to be. Hello, and welcome back to the road less traveled. It's me, Dolo. Thank you for being here. As usual, I appreciate your presence. Please hit like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. Today, we are speaking about intuition. Your intuition. We're all pretty familiar with the concept of an intuition, yes? However, as usual, I'm going to get you an actual description. So, Oxford defines intuition as the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. A thing that one knows as or describes as an instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. So basically the way that I'm going to describe it here in my layman terms are that intuition is that feeling. And I'll reference it with, normally you see like an angel and a devil on a shoulder in the movies depicting that you have reasoning. You have this one telling you why it'll be a good thing, and you have this one telling you why it would not be a good thing. The duality of it all. And so intuition is essentially that. It is when you know what you should be doing or what feels like the correct way to go, but you don't really have facts behind it, or no one told you. You maybe haven't proven it. You just kind of feel, you just kind of feel. Or even as an example, I think it had up here, I closed the window now, but I believe it had an example of intuition as a hunch. We've heard of a hunch where you just feel like maybe it's this or maybe it's not this, and you go with it. Intuition. Jiminy Cricket in the movie Pinocchio. He sat on the shoulder and he was the one telling him like, yeah, no, you should go to school. Don't listen to those guys. Go to school. He didn't listen to him, but at the same time, that was his intuition in physical form in that movie. Animated movie, Florence Scovel Shinn and numerous other teachers say that suffering is a direct result that comes from the violation of intuition. The results that we get, and sometimes are a little less than desirable, are results from decisions we made, choices we made, the direction we picked. And many of us can admit that in hindsight, when you look back, you realize, yeah, you had that feeling that you probably shouldn't, but you did anyway. You reasoned that you could probably find a way this way and you could change it up that way. When in reality, yeah, you knew better. You knew better. Don't pretend like you didn't know, because you knew. But to me, it also sounds like Abraham explaining that when you're feeling differently about a topic than your inner being is feeling, your inner being being your direct connection to source energy, when you're feeling differently from the way your inner being feels on that topic, you'll feel that discord. You'll feel unhappy, sadness, anger, irritation, whatever it is that you're feeling on the lower vibrational scale is a direct result of you not acknowledging that your inner being feels this way about it. And that's source. So they really know best. Just to acknowledge that you are being guided is your intuition, following what you're being guided to do without words, without reasoning, sometimes without example, without explanation. If you feel like you should do it, go with the feeling. Go with the feeling. You don't feel that way for no reason, and you don't need a reason. I know that is one thing that I have pushed to my children thus far, that Whether or not you can explain why, if it does not feel right, get going. I tell them basically you listen to that feeling, okay? Because nobody knows the answer better than you do. And so, needless to say, I'm going to say it anyway, our intuition was obviously gifted to us for navigation. It doesn't always end up being detrimental, I think, unless you continue to ignore your intuition at every single turn and do what you want all willy-nilly, then you probably will end up with very undesirable results. And I'm not even going to say probably because, yeah, been there. You will be scraping the gutters, okay, on results until you decide to listen to your intuition. It's not always the easiest thing to do because your spirit, your intuition, your attachment to source energy is the quieter voice in your head. It is the one that is not really doing all the hubbub trying to get your attention and make a big deal about it because it's more of an offer. Free will. You don't have to do anything that spirit is telling you to do. Technically, this is your round on earth. Do what you do. However, if you want nice results and you are looking for pleasurable experiences continuously, it may be helpful to listen to your guiding source, your intuition, your inner being, whatever you call that feeling that you get when you know what you know. I will say, from having spoken with a lot of people and from my own experiences, it is very easy to get swept up in ignoring your intuition because it is so soft and gentle about it, because it is not overwhelming you, not reaching to the depths to get your attention. It is easy to overlook and ignore. And in society, a lot of times, of course, we have the pressure from loved ones and coworkers, associates, just wherever you find your pressure or have found pressure in the past. That will keep us in a place at times, if we allow it to just run over our intuition because it is not favorable to the masses. They wouldn't understand why you did it. And what if you were wrong? That's a big one right there. What if you were wrong? I was a huge offender of always thinking that in the past, anytime I felt something, what if I'm wrong? Then I'm going to look really stupid. I used to think that. And over time, with the growth, with the comprehension of the fact that there really are no rules, I realized that looking stupid is the least of my concerns, really, because, yeah. Instead, I have learned to listen to it. Because every time I've ignored that voice or that feeling in the past, it turned out less than desirable. And I said to myself, well, you kind of knew that already. You just didn't feel like listening to it at the time. And so a series of unfortunate events in life, just in general, led me to realize you are feeling, hearing, seeing this for a reason. Why don't you try and listen to it? Why don't you see where it leads you? And yes, nowadays, when I listen to my intuition, it leads me directly around the nonsense, directly around the drama. And a lot of times after I've gotten the result of something, I can look back and say, oh, thank goodness I didn't say this because I was about to say this and something told me not to say it. Man, I'm not going to lie. That actually happened a couple of times the last few weeks where I was just like, I heard my inner being say, chill. You don't need to say that. And I could literally identify, like, I suppose it was my ego debating with it. Like, I mean, but I could say it and it really wouldn't hurt anything if I said it. I mean, I can just say it. I just want them to understand the full scope. So I should really say it. Yeah. My spirit kept saying, chill. And I love that I can recognize that now because every time I chill, I believe it turned out better than it would have had I said what I initially thought to say. I just want peace and blessings, okay? And at times, the tongue can get a little fierce. At times, I can find myself magnifying something that just seemed bigger to me at the time. And I acknowledge these things about myself. Therefore, I have learned to listen to my intuition. If my intuition tells me to chill, I'm a chill. I'm a chill. And I'm going to mean it. And I'm going to mean it. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and fester on it. I'm not going to wonder what would have happened if I said this. Like, things are great when I follow my intuition. And so I implore you, if you're not already on that, go ahead, hear that little voice, listen to it, or that feeling, which normally, if it is your intuition, you're likely to feel it in your stomach area. So you feel it even if it's not there. Because I get on certain subjects we have not touched here in depth. I'm getting there. The love of it all, the manifestation of love, and love just trembling about anyway. Yeah, we're going to get there. However, I have felt in certain instances like that same tingly, alerting, wompy feeling like go down my left arm. And, those of us who have been in the medical field are aware that there are veins that go from your heart down your left arm. And in fact, that's why your ring finger should normally, traditionally, from what I understood, because everything is different in 2024, I'm not going to lie. From what I recall, traditionally, your marriage ring, your engagement ring, your ring sets go on your left ring finger, because that is the ring that has the vein and the arteries that go to your heart, essentially. Anyway, I don't know if it's related. I'm sure it is, because nothing is a coincidence. But I mention that because, again, there have been times where my intuition was there. Like, it was all down my left side, and I've learned to trust it. I've learned to know the signs of what it means in my world, the guidance that is being given to me, and to acknowledge it, to respect it, to love on it, appreciate it, because again, it is a superpower. It is a power. It is a power. It's a superpower. We have so many superpowers, all of us. And it's just a matter of finding them, learning them, tending to them, sharing them. Let's get in it. Get into them superpowers. That's all I'm saying. Whatever yours is, you have at least one guaranteed. Get into it. And so, just for the sake of entertainment, let's go over a few examples of what intuition may look like. I'm pretty sure most of you have an idea, and yet I'm going to paint you a pretty picture anyway. So, intuition looks like you're heading out the door for work, and as soon as you get in the car, you keep asking yourself, did you turn off the stove? Now, yes, in other examples, this could be overthinking. However, that's not what I'm going for here, okay? Anyway, you ask yourself, did I turn off the stove? I'm pretty sure I turned off the stove. I'm pretty sure I remember, but then you start thinking, was that last night that I remember doing it? And you're just not sure. You are unsettled complete, like you don't have a complete answer as to whether or not you turned off the stove. And so part of you says, okay, should I go and check? And the other part says, well, if you go and check, you're going to be late for work. It's most likely that you turned off the stove. Which one are you going with? Your intuition is probably the one telling you to go inside and make sure. Because either way, if you had turned the stove off, you were probably supposed to be delayed that 5 minutes or whatever it took you to do it for a reason. A reason like a car crash on the way to work. A reason like your kid missed their bus, and had you not stayed that 5 more minutes, you would have missed them coming back to the house and they had forgotten their key. Or a reason like you get into work 5 minutes late and just in time to meet the biggest client the firm has ever had, for example. It's always for a reason, is my point. And so intuition is most likely the one in that example telling you to go ahead and check the stove. But in our egoic mind, most of us would just be like, nah, I'm pretty sure I did. I'm confident I did. I normally do, whatever's the case. And I cannot be late. Today of all days, I cannot be late. And so we talk ourselves out of it and we leave. That scenario could go a lot of ways, of course. Maybe you did leave the stove on. Now the house done blown up because you did not go and check it. But then it could also go where nothing happens with the stove and it was perfectly fine. But again, maybe you get into a fender bender on the way to work, or maybe you are so hurried that you didn't see the dude on his bike that was crossing the street and you hit his back tire and now his neck is broken and you got to pay for it. Juno, listen to the quieter voice that is just suggesting, because they will never try to force you into something that is not for your best outcome, for your very best outcome. It's always for your very best outcome. It is for our very best outcome. Me and you and you and me. Our outcomes. And so I actually used that example when I had a real story to tell y'all. I really can tell you a real story, in which case I ignored my intuition just this past week. Terrible. I know. But I did. I ignored my intuition. What happened was I was leaving and it was for work, and like a whole lot happened as soon as I hit the front door. And so long story short, I had to go ahead and do some revamping of what was originally supposed to be happening in that moment, which was me warming my car up and my daughter getting on her school bus. And yeah, again, I hit the front door and everything was out of order. So in the end, I did not go and check if I had closed the front door. And I asked myself at the end of the driveway, did I close the front door? But you can't see it from the end of the driveway. And I said to myself, well, yeah, pretty sure you closed the front door. Why you always close the front door. Why would you not close the front door? And then I couldn't really remember if my daughter had came out last or me. Like, it was just the whole thing. And so I opted to go to work. I said, yeah, that's cool. It'll be all right. You know, you're good at closing doors and stuff. Yeah, no. When I got off of work later that afternoon and before the children were out, that door was wide open. It wasn't pretending to be closed. It wasn't halfway there. It wasn't working on it. It was wide open. Again, it's okay because you can't see it from the street. And yet I said, you're still doing it. You're still doing it. Every time you make progress in this area, you'll do it again. That is me and my intuition. You know, I questioned it for so long, and for a long time when I was younger, I'd let people even talk me out of it because I didn't really have proof. However, again, I'm in a much better place. I have it like down packed at this point in my life. And then I'll have days like that where for some reason, I just did not listen to my intuition. And the good news is nothing happened. You know, again, you can't really see it from the street. And I checked, they didn't take, nobody came and did anything or took anything. So nobody was hiding in the closet. Things were okay. And so that was the best case scenario. And yet I took it as a clear reminder. Stop questioning your intuition because it seems like things are one way. Yeah, I took that as a tap on my shoulder like, hey, you need to put some respect on your intuition. And so, yeah, I feel like the more you use it, the more you do listen to your intuition, the more you practice using it, like on anything, everything. Just listen to it, your very first instinct that you hear. And something that's said often is if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. For real though, like if it's not a yes, it's a no. What else could we really be? We're not doing the maybes. There's no maybe here. There's no maybe in the equation. If you don't feel like yes and you don't feel like yes almost immediately, then it's a no. Same as if no response is a response. If someone does not respond to you, that is their response. Granted, things happen along the way. A phone gets disconnected or, you miss each other in some other way. Things do happen along the way. It will always happen the way it's supposed to. But no response is a response. And if it's not a yes, it is a no. If you do not almost immediately feel yes about something that has been presented to you, it is a no. Okay, that's the lowest I have for you right now. But yeah, you can strengthen your intuition. Just stop and listen in every situation. Anytime something's presented to you, or even if nothing's presented to you, but you're scoping out the room like some of us just naturally do, you can feel things, you can hear things within your body if you are paying attention. If you are giving your inner being that space to speak, if you are giving them your attention, they gonna let you know what it is. And so practice, because your intuition can get much stronger over time, much, much stronger. For me, yeah, sometimes I slip up. I slipped up the other day. When I left that door open, I slipped up. It was me. I did it. It was me. Yeah, that's kind of how the last week was, though. On more than one occasion, I ignored it and felt kind of silly after, but I believe that was the last one. That was just, again, a reminder you can do better. Listen, because maybe you're going to be presented with some bigger things soon that you need to listen to yourself on. And I believe that's the case. I think we should use our intuition daily. I think it is beneficial to us to use our intuition in every scenario because, again, who else are you making happy if not you? Seriously, it's nice to do the martyr thing and make everybody else feel happy. However, you still have to sleep in your own body. You still got to go back to you. Those thoughts are coming in your head. It's you. It's you. And so it wouldn't make sense to ignore what you are telling you, because no one knows the answer better than you do. No one knows the answer better than you do. You're the only one in your reality. You're the only one it even matters to. Like you're the only one it will matter to, whatever it is. And not that I think it's anyone on this channel, but I'm sure there are people out there who are just like, well, yeah, I don't want to use intuition. I don't need it. Like, who cares for what? Sometimes I ignore it. I make a little mess and then I clean it up. Cool. Hey, I listen, we came to live. That's how I look at it. I came to live. So I get it. I'm all about making a little mess sometimes because I know I can clean it up. It all depends on what month it is. If I'm in my thrill-seeking mood or, it depends on a lot of components. But overall, I know some people are not even interested in using intuition. They're just like, what is that? Who cares? And if that's the case, sorry for you. No, I'm kidding. But if that's the case, okay, yeah, obviously, personal choice. Your reality, again, is your reality, and that's cool. However, it's not something you can turn off. If we're going to be real about it, you can't just turn it off. So don't think for a second that you're going to turn it off. You can ignore it for a while, but even you will know in a dangerous situation when it's time for you to make a move. Even you will not ignore your intuition in a dangerous situation. But I'm going to say you'll probably only get in an actually dangerous situation if you have been ignoring your intuition thus far. True story. Your intuition is telling you, oh, that's not your friend. Oh, that person doesn't feel good. Why are you here? And you still keep going around anyway because y'all got history. It's been so long and, y'all know each other and they was there for you for this and that. At the end of the day, if your intuition is saying it, they're not saying it for no reason. You're not having that feeling for no reason. You're not thinking that thought for no reason. Investigate. Don't keep putting your inner being's voice on the back burner if you want better. Because again, you'll always get warnings. You'll always have something leading up to it. You'll always ignore a few good choices before you get to that really, really, really terrible result. Keep that in mind. That's where the accountability comes into it. For each of us, we must be accountable. I am accountable for leaving the door open. And then some. And how often have we seen videos and compilations of like people who just missed death by seconds? Again, no coincidences. There are no coincidences. At least I don't believe there are. And that being the case, someone's intuition tipped them off. Something's about to happen, move this way for some reason. Even if you take a side step, you step over a couple of times, you don't really know why you did it except that you thought maybe you needed to adjust your hips or something. But when you do that, you miss this whole palm tree that was falling. Lots of examples of intuition. It's just a matter of listening. When you see something that makes you think something at a time that you have a choice, when you hear something that makes you feel something, and now you have a choice. When you smell something and have a thought about, I don't know, leaving or getting up or sitting down or whatever your thought is, it is for a reason. It's for a reason. And so practicing it, listening to that little gentle sway as often as possible will only strengthen that power of intuition. It's something I want to be strong, and we all have it naturally. You are naturally gifted intuition. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It is beautiful when you are intuitive, when you are listening to yourself, when you are following the signs, the messages, the feelings, especially the feelings. That feeling will get you. And I want to say it was the last episode we were talking about manifesting a mate. And part of me having manifested in the past mates was I would feel them. I would literally feel them in my stomach. I want to say like maybe usually about 2 weeks before I met them, I would feel like, it's the craziest thing. I want to say bubbly, but then y'all going to start thinking something that it wasn't. Not that. There's a feeling like a tingly and maybe a little bubbly, not gas. It ain't gas. It's not that. Okay. But this numbing, sometimes even a jabbing feeling. Like I've felt a lot of different things. But that being said, yeah, like each time I manifested someone, called them in, I literally felt it in my stomach for 1 week before, whatever's the case. And I don't mean all day, every day. Nothing like that. Just at random times where my first thought was, oh, he's coming. And this is not even knowing who he is, not even knowing where he's coming from. You know, it's just, I would get hit with something in my stomach and that would be my very, very first thought. No matter what I'm doing, I could be stacking cans. I don't stack cans for anything, but I could. I stack cans when I put them in the cabinet. Yeah. So I could be stacking cans and thinking about what I'm making for dinner. And it'll just hit me. And then again, like just that thought, oh, it's him. Like I just know it's him. And so that has happened to me a couple of times. The last few times I manifested men, I felt them before they arrived. I felt them coming, literally, like just felt them in. And I remember one time, like the very first time I did it, when I felt it and acknowledged that was exactly what it was, I was like scared because it almost felt like someone had just said to me. It felt like someone literally just announced, oh, he's coming down the hall right now. The crazy thing is, that's not when I met them, when I was feeling it. That's never when I met them, actually. But it was like a warning or something. Oh, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. I don't even know what to call that. It's kind of interesting. It really is. And I know some of you can relate. If you can relate, go ahead and type something in the comments. Let us know that you comprehend what I'm talking about, because it's really, really a thing. And it's so exciting to me. But yeah, intuition can be presented in so many ways. It's just, to put it in simple terms, when you know, you know. Don't question it. Don't second guess it. When you know, you know. And I think another reason many of us second guess like what we know, especially if we're talking about relationships, would be because we always think that, what if it doesn't work out? What if you look stupid later? Or, this is not normally how people do this. Oh, I saw this done before and it did not turn out great. Just such egoic thoughts and repetitive recycled thoughts that we tend to think in society and pass around to one another. It can make it harder to hear and or take your intuition seriously at times. Again, it's a practice, but When you know, you know. Don't second guess yourself. Just do it. Society thinks everything is so linear. Oh, when you make this decision, that is the final decision forever. Now, granted, everyone has their opinion on marriage. I'm not specifically talking about marriage right now. I'm just talking about union and or any decision that you make that seems like a big deal at the time. You make the decision and society will have you think, oh, if this fails, you're a failure. Oh, if this doesn't work out the way that you thought it would, then yeah, you're stupid for doing it. But the reality is, again, we're always changing. Everyone's always changing. You should be changing because change is growth. Change is like expansion. In my opinion, staying stagnant is a problem because you're not growing the way you should. You're not expanding the way you should. You're simply rotting, dying. Again, we all have options. We have choices. Do what you do. I'm not judging nobody because there's been many points in my life where I was just rotten. I was just stagnant and I didn't care. And I mean, it doesn't last very long, but there have been many points in my life where that was the case. So I get it. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm simply saying trust your intuition because your intuition will guide you. It will guide you to the greatest of all places, all the places you want to be, slowly but surely, one decision at a time, one observation at a time. I don't believe that questioning our intuition can ever be good for us. I really don't. Again, the intuition is going to be the quieter, suggestive voice or feeling as opposed to the loud, violent, hasty, harsh feelings, thoughts, words. The approach is definitely different. The approach is different. The approach is love when it is of source energy, when it is of your best outcome. The feeling is ease. It is peace. It is relaxation. It is love. It is kindness. It is inclusion. Everything great. Our intuition is here to help us find everything great, to help us be everything great, to help us become everything great. Now, does that mean that there is you're not going to be ungreat sometimes or unhappy or unamazing? I mean, we all have our moments. But overall, you have the option to be great. Always. If you listen to your intuition. Yeah, so there's that. Intuition. Our best friend. Each of our best friend. Each of our best friends. The best friend to each of us. There you go. There you go. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this intuition. So, use your intuition whenever, however you are able to. Be your best you, which is an amazing stream of source energy. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to say on intuition. Just that you do have a voice. You have a guide. You have a feeling. You have however you are intuitively getting that message. You know what you know. Give it a little respect. Practice listening to you. Practice listening to you, not other people, not books, not opinions, not teachers, but just you. Not the government, just you. Do you agree with it? Does it feel good? Especially that second question. If it does not feel good, get gone. Or at least that's what I like to do. Oh, that car in the background was so perfect. I don't know if my mic picked that up, but it was like a me. Yeah, right when I said that. Get gone. Faux show. All right, but it's been great. Thank you for joining me on The Road Less Traveled. I'm your host and your friendly spiritual assistant, Dolo. Hit me up if you want to talk about something. I have my links below. And until next time, please like, share, subscribe. And I'll be back soon, my bigger budget beings. Deuces.